Decorating Pages is a podcast dedicated to taking you behind the scenes of the designs of your favorite TV shows and films. Each episode, I'll be sharing design stories from some of Hollywood's most famous sets. Interviews from set decorators, production designers, directors, and actors about creating the look of TV and film, about their design inspirations, and stories that take sets from page to screen. Hello, and welcome to Decorating Pages. I'm your host, Kim Wanup. Congratulations, Emmy nominees. Some stiff competition out there. I don't know if anybody saw the design categories, but it's going to be a good one. I think we should play some bets or something. I'm looking for some action. Yeah. I can't believe it's Emmy time already. I can't believe the summer's halfway done. I can't believe I'm still on this show. I can't believe I have 23 more wake-ups and probably more. But it is airing in September, supposedly. So I'm so happy that maybe you will watch everything that I've talked about for the last year and a half. But let's talk a little Emmy nominations. Let's talk about it. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Contemporary Program, 1 hour. Mayor of Easttown, yay! Flight Attendant, Handmaid's Tale, The Undoing, and Yellowstone. That's a good one. That's hard, man. I know who I'm gonna vote for that one. Let's just say. I'm gonna vote for Philly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna vote for Mayor of Easttown. I'm gonna go for it. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Period or Fantasy Program. This is rough. Now here's... I gotta take a little joy in this because finally The Mandalorian has been moved over to 1 hour instead of in half hour. And I'd like to think my bitching had a little bit to do with that, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Bridgerton, Halston, Perry Mason, The Crown, Mandalorian, and Queen's Gambit. Contemporary and fantasy, it's hard. There's so much work that goes into period shows and fantasy. That's so much work for all of these shows. That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some rewatching and see what comes up. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Program, half hour. Emily in Paris, Hacks, Ted Lasso, United States of Al, and WandaVision. Which, that's kind of a tough one too. You gotta watch the episodes they submitted. That's good. I mean, I know who I'm voting for there. Let's just say that. Outstanding Production Design for a Variety, Reality, or Competition Series. Last Week with Tonight with John Oliver, RuPaul's Drag Race, Saturday Night Live, Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Masked Singer. Congrats to James Pierce Connolly for that one. And, man, I don't know. That's tough. It's not that tough. Let's move on. Outstanding Production Design for a Variety Special. Golden Globes. Congratulations, Brian Stone Street. The Friends Reunion. Election Night. With who? I don't know what that says. 63rd Annual Grammy Awards and the Oscars. To me, the Friends one is kind of like... that's a lot to put together. That was a lot. That's a lot. I don't know why that's in with them. It's weird. Categories get mixed up and then you're like, why is that in with that? But congratulations to everyone. As I said, a couple of people who are nominated again have past episodes on this podcast. So if you want to listen to their work, take a look back. Really, that narrative period fantasy program, that's a tough one. The Crown. The Crown's won like 4 times. Maybe let somebody else in there. I don't know. But yeah, I have been working and watching. What's one I'm watching? I watched all of that season 2 of Dirty John because there's not a lot on. But there's the Betty Broderick story, and a friend of mine, Jeff Massa, production designed it. So congrats to him. Claire Kaufman set decorated. It looked great as a period show, and I didn't really know the Betty Broderick story, so it was fascinating to me, and I love Christian Slater, so, No Sudden Move, production design by Hannah Beechler and set decoration by Marissa Lombardo. So this is the Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, Steven Soderbergh film on HBO Max, I think it was. I liked it. I mean, I think I'm just so thirsty for some movies that I liked it. And it kind of had a turn at the end, and you're like, oh, what am I watching? But I liked it. I thought the design was really good and period in the, I don't know, it was late 40s, early 50s. So I liked that. New show on HBO Max called The White Lotus, which, why didn't anybody call me for this? It's like shoots all in like a hotel in Hawaii. Hello, I think. Laura Fox, production design. Jennifer Lucart, decor to set decorator. Good job there, Jen. It seems like a dream job, doesn't it? This probably sucks. I know the decorator from Lost, and I was always like so amazed, and she was like, it's really hot, and there's a lot of sand. So sometimes you think your dream jobs, and then you talk, and the reality is not that great, but cool. But still cool. Watched a couple old movies. Adaptation. I love that movie. Clue. How can you not watch Clue every month? I don't know. A friend of mine came over and we had some drinks and we watched Clue because we should make up a drinking game to it, is what I said. I don't know. And then my husband thought that the game was made from the movie, and then we had to clarify that the board game was around before the movie. Yeah. And then, as I eventually talk about in this podcast, I watched the movie Streets of Fire, which is one of those movies that came out and somehow I was just allowed to watch whatever I wanted. And I watched this movie like every day it was on. And I had to look it up. It came out in 84. So probably around like 86. See, like 85, it probably went to cable, right? And then it repeated. So probably around 85, 86. And I'm sitting there watching it like all the time. I didn't even realize Bill Pullman's in it, which is so weird, and he's really ugly in it, but he's funny. I didn't even realize they tried to make it this comic book thing. So it's Michael Pare and a very young Diane Lane, gorgeous. Rick Moranis is in it. Amy Madigan. There's like a lot of Willem Dafoe is in it. Is this creepy pale dude. I don't even get what was going on. Like, he kidnapped this singer, and then the old boyfriend came to rescue her. But when you really watch it now, Willem Dafoe basically was like, either like have sex with me for 2 weeks and then I'll let you go. Like, it's a very weird thing. I don't know how I just watched these things when I was little, and they all influenced me. I mean, there's weird design in this. Oh, I forgot to look up the guy's name. Like these neon pieces, and somehow it's like the 50s, and then it's the 80s, and it's all over the place, this movie. And Michael Pare is so stiff and not even good in it, but he's hot. I'm a much bigger Eddie and the Cruisers fan for Michael Pare. And that says something. That's how good this movie was. Ed Begley Jr.'s in it. I don't know. If you ever see, you got to check this out. It's called Streets of Fire. I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's probably like a guilty pleasure of yours, and you don't want to admit it. I'm telling you right now, I haven't seen it in a long time. I thought it was a good movie. It's not. It's not a good movie. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. On this episode, I speak to set designer Ryan Garton, who has worked on shows like Banshee, Sleepy Hollow, and Scorpion. He also worked recently on the feature film The Prom, and I've been working with him for the last year and a half on American Crime Story Impeachment. Ryan has a gift for creating virtual renderings that are gorgeous, and these days, with our schedules being so tight and revisions constantly coming at you, a set designer's job has become so demanding. With budget cuts and stage space, and then, plugging walls into locations, and it shoots tomorrow. The set designer drafts the construction drawings for elements to complete sets or do full builds. Like, their drawings are what's it. If you don't know how this goes, the set designer is the one who's physically drawing the dimensions on all of the plans and then sending them out to be constructed. Ryan also turns his drawings into 3D renderings that are so lifelike. Like, he even throws Clive Owen into them for scale sometimes, which is pretty impressive, I think. He's really dramatic in the renderings and moody, as I say when we talk. His work has been extremely helpful for me in these huge sets that we've been building. Seeing the renderings with the color palette that the designer, Jamie McCall, has selected. And then, the cherry on top is when I go in to talk to him about these renderings, then we get into a, Beverly Hills Housewives discussion, because it's awesome and I get to forget about work for 10 minutes and just vent about Housewives. And if you've listened to this podcast, I throw in that I watch in Housewives all the time. So I'm finally doing half of an episode here about the Housewives. But to keep with our design theme, Ryan and I, we discussed the decor and the houses of the housewife. So, yeah. So half this interview, is our normal, and then we go into some housewives. We start out on housewives, and I reel it in for you, because I know I don't think a lot of you are into housewives. But I am, and it's funny, and then, I don't know. But it all comes back to design, so yeah. Ryan also has a crazy, lucky story of how he got into this business. Another talent versus timing versus luck. So, I hope you enjoy. Every time we talk, it's cold, and then I'm like, I don't want to talk to you until the podcast, because then we get into in-depth conversations. I'm like, see that? That was good. This is good.
Who is Hunky Dory? It's not like.
So wait, did you watch an episode?
Not last night's. Or not this week's. And I haven't seen this week's New York, the Salem episode.
What am I jealous of? Your ugly
I can't
leather
wait.
pants?
No, I can't wait for that. But it is also like, Crystal, that's it. Enough.
Oh, she's so dumb.
What's going on here?
Let it go.
Is it still about that?
Yes, it's still about, I felt violated.
This is crazy.
Violated? What are you talking
This is
about?
crazy.
But I'm telling you, every time she has like lunch with like someone else, it becomes a different story, or I didn't really mean that, or she's taking it. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. And you're like, no, you.
Do you want this to be your whole season?
20 fucking times.
This is it for you. This is your whole season. Is this story?
Well, yeah, because she doesn't have anything else. We're gonna watch her kickbox all fucking season?
Nope.
Please.
Who is... I want that to be my ringtone. Every time I go online, it's, who is Hunky?
I'm surprised they don't have that as a clip.
Yeah.
They don't.
Garcelle is kind of queen of reaction shots.
Garcelle's okay.
I like her. She's... isn't so like you in the book he breaks down like everybody's there's like a person that represents. She's the voice of reason
for this season.
Yes,
for this
she's current season.
I'm not giving her anything else.
Who is voice of reason for New York right now? Sonia Morgan?
No, Sonia, to me, every time there's like an argument or a fight and she's like see, yeah, bleeding.
You're bleeding?
I don't know. There's something. Oh, there's a piece of glass in my.
Ay.
Where did this glass come from?
Well, it looks like there's a tiny sliver taken out right here. Honestly, like a tiny one. It's fine.
I don't think we can drink that.
Yeah, we can. It's the tiniest. Yeah, we can.
Was it that big? I'm a bleeder.
Yeah, I think it is.
How did that happen? That
See?
is crazy.
See that little tiny chip?
Oh my god.
I think this
Well,
is
it got me. Well, I'll
yeah, I'm not gonna
I'm fine.
I'll risk like intestinal distress.
I don't even know what. I'm sure we've all ingested glass before.
So this is a 4-hour podcast, right?
Yeah, we have 4 hours.
4 solid.
1 hour per city.
Oh, I just did.
Oh, okay.
1 hour per city. We'll do New York. We won't do. Well, yeah, I'll talk about Potomac. You don't know Potomac.
But I don't know Potomac. That's the bummer of this is that you have, and you don't watch New Jersey.
I have seen New Jersey, so I can speak to it. It's Carmela Soprano on steroids. I can speak to it.
Isn't it so weird that we work with her?
Yes.
It's very weird to me.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe I'm in the room with her. Can I ask about you first?
Yeah.
So,
you can.
So, Ryan Garton.
Yeah.
You are throwing a fabulous party. No.
Yes, that you're not coming.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But I'm working with you now
Mm-hmm.
on Impeachment, and you're the set designer.
Yes.
But how did you get to here?
Like an unlong-winded version of this, I will try to come up with, which is I'm taking it too far back. Okay, I was always interested in design and always interested in art. I was a fine arts major in school, and I loved the idea of doing something artistic. I was actually originally an animation major, and I thought that I would go into animation.
Because I've seen some of your drawings. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I switched to painting, and I really got into fine art, like acrylic painting, and I got into like figurative realism, and I thought this is cool, but I have no drive whatsoever to do it myself, to promote myself, to do it on my own. It's just not right for me. I really do. I absolutely demand structure in order to be a functioning person. Otherwise, as the pandemic showed me, it was like I'll completely fall apart. Like no structure is terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not like, okay, I'm gonna make this list and this is what I'm gonna do, and
I'm not driven enough. I need stakes, and I need rules, and I need parameters. So eventually I kind of muddled my way through my early 20s, and then found my way back to school for interior design, and I loved that. I loved the interior, and I got my master's degree in interior architecture at UCLA Extension and Cal Poly Pomona. They kind of joined.
Oh, awesome.
They joined together, and they created a master's program while I was actually going there. So I kind of was like, oh, I'm gonna slow down and make this work.
Yeah, right.
So I did that. I worked for an architect for a while in West Hollywood, and it was all ground up new construction and some interior design. And then I worked and that was several years. And then I worked for a few more years at a commercial design firm that did mostly, they did a lot of tenant improvement. I wasn't on that team, though. That was kind of their bread and butter. More so office spaces, lobbies.
And you were floor planning, you were space planning?
Space plan.
Yeah.
I actually got that job because I knew SketchUp so well that I taught SketchUp to that firm.
Oh my God.
And then that was in 2008 during
when the writers' strike?
No, the
crisis.
Yeah, like the full housing crisis.
Right.
So I leveraged that kind of very niche skill to get a job at a time when it was difficult to get a job. And then for that firm for a while, I was their kind of 3D person. Like I did anytime we needed to do a mock-up or a rendering of any kind, I did that. And that was a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun. I liked having that special skill, and I liked doing that. Then time passed. My now husband was friends with an art director, and I became great friends with her as well. And she saw what I did, and she said, "You need to do this for, my world." And I had never considered entertainment. I've lived in LA for a long time, but it was just not I just thought at that point, like, oh yeah, design is my world.
Right.
And so then she got me into this right time, right moment situation where it was like, right now you have to leave your job in order to get on a show.
Well, that's how this world is.
Exactly. And I was like, okay, this is a huge risk. I've kind of put a lot of time in here. Yeah. I'm not even able to give them 2 weeks. They were incredibly understanding. I explained what it was. I was very honest, and I sat CEO, HR, all the different people, my direct boss, the design principal, all these people. I sat them down. I was like, look, I have this opportunity to work on a TV show, doing what I do.
But how did you get to do it if you weren't in the union?
That kind of weird thing of, it's like a catch-20. You kind of can't get into the union almost.
Right.
It's like it's set up so you can't get in.
Yeah.
So there's two ways you can do it. One is you work on a show that nobody else will work on, and they kind of petition to get you in.
Yes.
And that was the first 21 days. And that was it was a pilot over like around the Christmas holiday. So it was not highly paid. To me it was highly paid, but it was not a highly paid, regular show. And nobody was interested, nobody was available. So I was able to get in that way. And that was just 21 days. You still need 30 total. So the next one was a movie, and this was with Jamie, a movie, low budget, that was going to be non-union until they started shooting, and they were going to flip over to become union. Yeah. And that's the other way you get in. Yeah. So that was, I did 11 days on that.
That's crazy.
I know. And then
that is a crazy story, man.
And it all happened. It was like...
You have no idea how lucky that is.
I know. I will say this. I mean, I absolutely.
But you had talent and timing.
Yes, exactly.
I'm always for that, but that's a lucky sort of like.
And I wasn't. I think it's one of those things where if you're not scrambling for it, it almost is like you just kind of. Yeah. Oh, it was knowing somebody. It was being, and that's the classic story. But it was knowing somebody. I always took extra work.
I like to say it's not who you know; it's who remembers you.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You have to be memorable.
I would do freelance work all the time. So anybody who ever asks me now advice, who's younger, especially if they're in their 20s, my advice is always take every single opportunity.
Yes.
Don't
take every interview, even if you don't want the job.
Absolutely. I mean, I did, and I didn't know it then. I did like so many oddball things in my like early 20s all the way up till I was probably 30, 31. I was doing so many different things. I worked in completely incongruous industries. Like I worked at UBS Financial Services for 2.5 years, almost right out of school. But I also worked at Trader Joe's. Then I worked at Hamburger Mary's, that restaurant in West Hollywood. Yeah. I worked there for 2+ years. I would meet people there though.
Well, yeah.
And I would get like side work. And then when I was at school, but when I went back to school, probably at like 25, the professors were all professionals, and so anytime I was like, this is my opportunity to go really above and beyond, and I would really kill it and really work hard, and then say, "Are you guys hiring at your firm?" And one of my first professors was an architect, and he was like, "Yes," and he hired me, and then I would just do side work for other people, and I would. I'll do a rendering.
You're a hustler.
I was definitely hustling.
You gotta hustle.
I was definitely hustling. I still do. Yeah. I still hustle.
Yeah.
I still hustle.
It's in your blood. I mean, I feel like it's always sort of like...
Yeah, and there's just not hustlers, too. There are some definitely not hustlers. There were people I worked with in that architecture world that were not hustlers. They're complacent. Yeah, and they wanted to... It's like, I want to work at one company for 20 years. No. 25 years.
I remember working at an architecture firm and thinking... I have been lied to.
Oh, for sure.
Because being in school and you're so creative and you get these projects and you think it's going to be this, and this, and you get there and you're like, put a fire extinguisher in every 75 feet. And you're like,
oh, yeah. It's I was craving rules. It's like, you want rules, here you go. It's all rules.
But it was like, they were designing... They were doing hotels in Kuala Lumpur that weren't going to be decorated for 2 years.
Yeah. You have to be so ready to just not be satisfied for a long time. And the other lie is the money.
Oh, the money sucks.
Terrible.
I think I made like $600 a week being the librarian, like the sort of office PA in a sense, and like librarian, keeping up samples. And
And that's kind of a fun job too.
Yeah, and then I would render some of the floor plans if they let me, and like I would do all the finished boards and assemble
the stuff
all
that's
those.
Like pretty and fun to look at and actually feels fun.
But then it was like, oh, you're doing all this. You're getting this approved. When does this go in? 2 years? How do you know this tassel is going to be cool in 2 years?
Yeah.
That's more fascinating to me. Like, are you trying to trend shit like this far in advance? How do you know?
No, they don't, and they're not.
And I think that's one of the reasons.
Some of the big cool ones are.
When you go to new shit, it's never. I don't know. It's still hotel-y because they have a limited amount of like. Now.
Right. Well, that's why I like this. Aside from just kind of a better lifestyle, I think I like that we have. I just don't have the attention span for. I can't wait a long time. Even when I was doing anything artistic, it was like I always wanted to see it fast. Yeah. I would work on a painting that would take me a long time, but I wouldn't let it go until I want to see it. I'd wake up in the morning. I want to see that finished. I want to see this area. It's like the excitement of seeing it done. And so when I am tasked with, okay, we got a new set and we're going to be rendering it out for, just to sell the idea. That's when it's from that point to the set actually happening. It's crazy. I mean, the most recent set we worked on, that courtroom. The courtroom. That was. It's like we did that in a few days, and then all of a sudden it was built. Yeah. It's crazy, but then it's like, you see it, and then people say, "Oh, they're gonna be taking it down soon." It's like, great.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I even said to Jamie, I was like, "Oh, I wish they would keep this and someone else could run it." And she was like, "No. I don't want to," and I'm like, "Oh, I know that argument. You don't want other people using your sets. I get that." Oh, totally. Argument. Yeah. I get that too because you have designed it and she has designed it and you put this collaboration together. Yeah. And then like Fox comes in and puts it in their stock sets and then you see it on like Always Sunny in Philadelphia in a year and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, I mean... You don't want that either. Yeah, I think there's a sliding scale, because I think there are some that's like, this is not big of a deal. This is like a straight, not to say this one specifically, but I think there are some that That's a beautiful set.
It is a beautiful set.
It's a beautiful courtroom set with a long hallway.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a grand jury room. It's beautiful. The detail that I can't believe they pulled off in that short amount of time.
All that wood, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the turnaround of creativity here is you gotta love it.
Yeah.
Because even like last year when we were doing the White House and I had like a month prep, by the time we were like almost going to shoot it before COVID, it was like, oh my god! Oh, I know.
Too much prep is too much prep is
Haven't we done that already?
Yeah, no, you can't. You get stuck in it. It's you know what it's because it's also like it's story driven. Yeah. So you want to read a book and you want to get through the book and you're like, okay, great. You're like, I don't want to keep reading the same chapter over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be reading this one book over the course of a full year. That's kind of a drag.
How was working on Sleepy Hollow?
Oh, Sleepy Hollow was awesome.
Was it fun?
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. It was like...
and you were on location for that?
I was in Wilmington. Yeah. And it was a long stretch, so it was like it had took a little bit of an emotional toll. I wasn't married yet, but I was in a long-term committed relationship, and that was tough to be away for 10 months. Yeah. It's not easy to fly in and out of Wilmington from LA. I mean, it's not so hard, but it's not just like a hop skip. East Coast is kind of a thing, and it's a small airport. But I'd worked on one long show before that, and it was Banshee, and that was awesome too, because that was like my first full season of something. So I really felt like, oh, this is cool. You're like it's like you are at camp, working on making something for the course of 6 months.
It's going to end, and if you're into it, you could come back for another season. Yes. Like there's this possibility of like, oh, this is my job for a little bit. Like
and it's a completely new life. You're transported to a completely different place, and you live in this, and you're paid to be there. Yeah. It is pretty incredible. Like there's some serious blessings to this.
Don't you think? Because I feel like I've gotten into this mode. I definitely got into this mode now of shorter seasons for TV shows. And then like, all right, I'm out. I'm at it. Like 10 or 12. I can't take this world anymore. I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll come back to it. Like we had a pretty good thing going because we had Veep, and then we did Love, and then we did Veep. And then we did The Good Place, and then
Veep
and The Good Place. It was like two completely different types of worlds.
And there's a little bit of a back of your brain stability too, because
Yeah.
you like know like, oh, as soon as this is over, I'll be going to something else.
Yeah.
I don't have that fear anymore of will I work? That's been washed away. I have
still have it.
I have since I started this never not worked if I didn't want to.
I have never not worked either, but I talked to the designer Jim Gloucester about this. Like, we're never gonna do anything as good as Veep, are we? Like, it's never gonna be like that.
So,
but I don't know. This is pretty good.
no, this is really good.
This is fantastic. I mean, as far as the look and like getting to do things and like.
I feel like this will be a prestige show too.
I hope so.
I think it will be.
I feel like you always at least me, I always kind of want to work on something that's sort of a staple, that someone's gonna.
Oh, you worked on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
like, oh, you know what? I watched that, but like, oh yeah, like I would say like NYPD Blue is a staple for me of something so gritty, and I thought it was all real. I thought they were in New York. They were over here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They were on this shitty backlot. Like, it's crazy to me. You many times I shot that alley over there?
I didn't actually. Don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
I've also never seen NYPD Blue.
Okay. Well. Okay.
I remember when it was on.
But no.
I just didn't watch it. Law and Order, yes, all day long.
I never watched Law and Order.
Love
so
Law and Order. Love.
But there's just sort of like, I want to be a part of that. I think too because of my own mortality of like, God, I hope somebody remembers what all this pain and suffering we go through.
I have gotten to a place, and this is just right now. This is not always. I've not always felt this way, I guess, but I have gotten to a place where I realize, and I talked about this with a friend of mine who's a writer, and she makes so much more money than I do, and she kind of has such a different life than I do, but she has the same kind of stress. I see it, like the same kind of like, what am I working on, and what, and I just, and I think, I care about my part in this whole world of it. I really do get that same thrill from seeing something. I love trying to make a rendering as captivating as possible. I love trying to sell it, not just be like, this is the architecture. I love actually trying to make it moody.
You get it moody. That's exactly what I was going to say. Your renderings are very moody. I
try to make them like compelling.
Yes. It's not flat. They're not flat at all.
That's my goal.
They have and I know it's a rendering, it has depth. But with working with you, it appears to me, then I start to think about the lighting placement too.
It's great.
Looking at your renderings.
It's great.
So yeah, it's very collaborative for me to see the renderings.
It's the best. It's my, and to me, it's like, I've kind of come to a place where I'm like, if this is what I do, that's great, because I really love it. And I actually have to say to I get that same feeling of, what's this going to look like when it's done? And it's always the same thrill or the same rush as it used to be when I would paint or make something and then finally finish and go, that's what I had in my head. That's what not exactly, but it kind of is a process. It kind of comes to life on its own, and you think, there's some surprises along the way. But for me, is what I think that I bring that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would rather do that for cool things. Like I care more about cool sets than I do about, this is the best show on TV right now. Like, and I can't even, I'm like, come up with an example. I actually think the design on Succession is like incredible.
Yes. And
I love Succession, but I'm saying like Succession to me would be like, this is a cool show. Oh my gosh, you work on that? Yes. You get bragging rights kind of out in the world. People will be like, that's really cool. You work on that. But if it was a mostly location show, which it's not, but we're pretending it is, pretending that
I think it's a lot of locations.
They built a lot of that.
I mean, I know the apartments.
Yeah,
and
that's a cool, it's a beautiful. If it was mostly location work and my part in the show was not that integral, or I didn't get to make cool things for it, I would rather not do that, even though it's kind of a show that people think, oh wow, that's really cool.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you.
To me, some people say, what's Sleepy Hollow? Like, I don't know, I don't remember that, but I'm like, no, but that was so cool.
Like design wise.
We made the coolest stuff. Like, we made a huge abandoned church. We had, I think, 5 stages at one point.
Who was designing when you were there?
Jeremy Kessels. And Natalie Weinman was the art director. But I also just got jumping around. I got like I fell in love with the whole crew. Like everybody in the art department was awesome. We all had such a good time. I knew everybody. I knew all the painters. I knew all the, like everybody was cool. I got really close with the locations department because I was living there. So it was like, on the weekends, what are you guys doing? Yeah. I'll go downtown and have some drinks with you, or let's go out to dinner. And it was, it was like this.
I think too, when you go on location, you gotta, your age-wise or your mental age, you gotta be able to handle it.
Oh, you have to,
because you could go down. You could go down dark quickly and just drink, or not care, or dick off.
I had a note written on my refrigerator that's on like a whiteboard thing, and I think it was, I don't remember if I wrote it or a friend of mine wrote it, but it honestly said, "Don't be sad."
Yeah.
Because there would be a lot of nights when I come home and just be like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I look back on it through total rose-colored glasses. Like, that was great. I was
great.
at camp. Yeah. But, I mean, we also worked a lot of weekends, and it was just like, you just kind of start to go, I'm at my limit. It's hard to sit in front of a computer for...
But that's one of the things when I went through my, like, all right, this week I want to be a model maker. This week I want to be a set designer. It was like, I don't know if I could just... I'm really not in the office a whole lot.
I know.
And I'm okay. I'm good with that.
I know. I think I'd be good with it too. I think I would be. But what I like about what I do in this, I think there's a lot of insecurity in this industry.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to deliver a tangible product for a lot of people. So for an art director, it's hard to gauge, did I do a good job?
Right.
Because the answer is, did the show look good? Yes, you did a good job, right? But maybe you weren't good at holding on to the schedules, or maybe you weren't good at communicating with people. Maybe you weren't good at, a whole host of things that are completely abstract and completely hard to gauge in a quantifiable way. For me, and my kind of fragile ego, when I deliver a rendering, someone can say, real. Everybody can say right away, yes, that looks good.
Yeah.
And then if I deliver drawings and construction says these are great drawings, I can read these, thank you.
Yeah.
Because the drawings are just, they are, to me, they're instructions on the way it's supposed to look. That is like a verifiable, someone can look at that with take a red marker to it and say, oh, you made a couple mistakes here, of course, let me change those.
Yeah.
And then
and I have the same experience in mind. It's either good or bad, but it's there and it's physical and...
Yes.
It's a product, in a sense, of what we're making a product out of nothing, out of words on a page.
Yeah.
And then it's real. And then it's, down on stage, and now it's going to be gone next week. Like,
I know. Yeah, so...
Does any rendering you've done stick out?
It's funny. There was a show that never... These kind of always stood out to me as, like, some of my first, like, oh, I really like these. There was a show that I was working on, actually with Jamie, but the designer at the time was Paul Jackson. It was a David Fincher directed show that was going to be on HBO, and it never happened. We filmed 4 episodes.
Was it the 80s one?
Yeah. It was like early 80s, yes. early 80s LA.
They tagged everything in every prop house.
Did they really?
But that's a sidebar, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no. But
that's how I knew.
It was a wild and crazy, wacky.
That's how I knew.
It was my first show back to LA after Sleepy Hollow, actually. It's like kind of what...
Wow.
I was kind of like...
Videosyncrasy
was the name of it. Working title, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to get back in LA and stay in LA for a while. This will kind of be my ticket in and get me anchored here for a while. So it was my first show back here after having been on location several times. And... I did a bunch of renderings for like individual apartments and like a new studio and some of those kinds of things. And that's when I kind of started really getting into the dressing a little bit more, like custom making stuff.
Right.
And really getting into the making it feel gritty. I even would like put filters over them to make them look like they were taken with old cameras. Mm-hmm. So it kind of had like, feels like an 80s set, like an early 80s set. Those just stood out to me. I always liked those because they all had like a burnt brown look.
That's a great like interpretation to like give someone.
Yeah, it was, and I got noticed on that. I remember it was like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool. It was like I remember I was told that that David Fincher asked, like, who does these?
Oh, nice.
And liked them a lot.
Don't ever tell him my name.
I don't think he knows my name either, I'm sure. But it was...
Well, they told him your name.
At the time. But, but I mean, it was just like, this is cool, So yeah, I like a lot of the renderings for this show, too. I'm happy with a lot of them. And I'll tell you now. I really, really liked some of the renderings for the prom. That was fun.
The prom was so cute.
This is why I like working with Jamie, though, is because not all designers like this. Some designers don't want the rendering stuff.
Oh.
And I don't know why. I feel like maybe it feels like it boxes them in. Like, this is the way it's going to look, or I don't know. But
here's probably why it's such a useful tool now, is because it doesn't take 20 hours to render something.
No.
If you make a change, it's 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So, wait, we're going into a meeting. Let's just say, I don't like this part. Like, can you change it before I show everyone?
Yeah.
And I think there's always such good open communication with Jamie that it's an easy edit.
We have such a shorthand, too, now.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is for me is like, that's the ego part of me that it's like, I like working with a designer where it's like, okay, you can, because I can, if I want to on my free time or whatever, I can kind of come up with, I always have it in my head, one day I'm going to like start doing some of my own ideas, but it's like, after work I don't want to. And also, I don't. I keep thinking I'm going to want to. I kind of like having a little bit of a guidebook in advance, like, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, now I'm gonna, as opposed to just like I could do anything I want. Like there's that concept art world of just fantasy stuff where it's kind of wild and crazy, and I don't know. I'm at least right at this moment in my life. That's not what's happening.
Do you watch things such as Succession and you look for like a set designer sort of detail?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Moldings and
absolutely. I watch absolutely everything I watch. I ask myself if it's a set or a location.
Oh, me too.
Constantly.
That's all I do.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
I'm amazed sometimes when I talk to people and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
E.T.'s house?
I can get lost. I can still get lost in a show. I'm still a total audience member. I can still fully participate and be moved and shaken and all those things. But I really do look at everything through that lens now.
I just watched that. God, I can't remember the name of it. It's the new Benicio del Toro and Don Cheadle HBO Max show. It's got a really bad name, like No Sudden Moves, or like it's like a a really bad name. It's a good. It's Steven Soderbergh. It's
awesome.
Steven Soderbergh or something. It's good, but I was distracted by this. Like, I don't know. I think it's every sort of designer thinks that if they're gonna do late 50s, early 60s, everything has to be wallpapered.
Oh, for sure.
In this distracting big print wallpaper.
Huge one, totally.
And I'm so distracted by it.
Absolutely.
I don't believe that the vernacular of ordinary people, I just don't believe it.
Like, of course there was wallpaper.
Yeah, but like... And then there was that other one, Them. Did you watch Them?
That was
Amazon?
Punishing. Yeah, that was punishing.
I had to stop.
It's really rough.
It's so rough. I think I got like 3 or 4 episodes.
I wanted to really like it, but it was like...
So much wallpaper. Right?
Yeah. I actually even think, you know what? I loved the Queen's Gambit. But
so much wallpaper.
Was so much wallpaper.
It's one of the first things
Or the Goldbergs is so much wallpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, but it's also like, you and I are the only ones that... Everyone else is like, yeah, wallpaper, the 80s.
Yeah. Well,
they like wallpaper the sides of the stairs.
Yeah, I know that designer. I think that was to hit the... I think to hit them over the head with this is the 80s. Mm-hmm. I watched the Goldbergs all the way up until like last season because it's the kid in Philly.
Yeah.
There's so many references that every week I was like, oh, Wawa or John or like anything. Like I'd be like, oh, craving for it.
Every episode I ever saw made me laugh. Every time.
There was something in there that made me laugh,
yes.
And now it's such a repeat of I'm over it. But yeah.
You're right about the 50s thing. Also, that kind of mint green.
Yeah.
That kind of like, which is a color I absolutely love, but it's like, it's for sure. Oh, it's the early 60s. We're gonna put like this mint green color absolutely everywhere.
I mean, I think it's a go-to, and it reads as the period, but yeah.
I like the really gritty, realistic, kind of not sexy design.
Yeah.
Like Mare of Easttown.
Yes.
Where you're like, this is all real.
It was,
absolutely real. And that's not probably...
I voted for it. I was like, the storm doors were perfect.
It's just...
The numbering outside.
There's nothing designy or sexy. It's kind of like hard for us to like, we can't help ourselves. We have to put cool things in.
It's hard. I would say this, in decorating something like that and trying to nail it, it's like, oh, there's these 10 things that'll really sell it.
Yeah.
Don't put 10 things in. Just put 5 in or 4 in. So it's not overdone. But to me, something like Mare of Easttown, if it wasn't shot there, it would not have looked that good.
Yeah, that Jamie says the same thing, for sure.
It's definitely, it has to be shot on location.
Yeah.
The location is just another...
But those interiors, like the
character.
The houses and the, you know...
The
like
homes and
the house
fences,
that...
Like, everything about it is so... That's what it is.
The house that she stumbles into with the guy keeping the girls.
Yeah, that was weird.
But that was
that happens.
Believed that. But I also believed that creepy, you know, like having like going up into that attic and all that, like that.
Do you know you make things like in Philly, not even like in Center City, but like out on the outskirts is like the bottom of your house is the bar. And then people live upstairs. Like, that's
very Edward Scissorhands. Oh no, you're talking about like I got you. You're talking about like it's actually a bar.
Yeah, it's actually a bar.
I'm thinking of like the bar
or
scene.
Or a cheesesteak shop. Yeah. is the first floor, and people live upstairs. Like,
I thought you were talking about the like 1950s, like you have like a rumpus room downstairs with like a little cheesy bar and like a couple of like, that's what I thought you were saying.
That's Edward Scissorhands. I get that.
Right.
Son.
Where he's pouring in the scotch.
Come on down. Yeah. When you're Rob Roy or something, he's drinking or something.
It's definitely scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his PJs.
Oh yeah. I never got that when I was a kid. I never understood what that was.
There's so many things that you watch now as an adult, and you're like, what the fuck is this I'm watching?
Yep. Like the condom in Howard the Duck.
Oh.
In his wallet. She's like looking through his wallet.
And there's a condom in there?
Yeah, she finds a condom. And I was like, when I was a kid, I had no idea. I thought it was like candy.
That's so funny.
That's a very specific reference, by the way, Howard the Duck.
Well, yeah, I've seen that movie many times. Not recently, so I might catch it.
I'd rewatch it. I'd definitely rewatch it.
I'd rewatch it.
That movie has a weird soft spot in my heart.
Did you ever see Streets of Fire?
No.
Oh, that's a good one. Damn. Yeah. I'm gonna rewatch that this week.
We were talking about how like when you're a kid, you don't know that there's bad movies.
I watched Clockwork Orange when I was like 6. I know that there's
no.
Because my parents
not off limits movies. Bad movies.
When
bad
you're a kid,
it's like,
you're right.
Oh, it's a movie. And you don't think like, that's not a great movie. I don't like that
movie.
You
don't judge it. No. It's just on and you're allowed to watch something.
And you fully, great, this is great. Like some of the movies,
Urban Cowboy.
Like I loved Howard the Duck as a kid. I thought like this is a great movie. And I loved Mac and Me.
Mac and Me was, I've seen Mac and Me, but not that many times.
I loved it. I had a birthday party.
Navigator, that was good.
Oh, I still think is a good movie.
I think Navigator, Boy Who Could Fly. Did you ever see that?
Say again?
The Boy Who Could Fly.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to that designer.
I bet you that's a great... I mean, is that a good movie, though?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in years. I don't know. I'm sure it holds up.
I read an article over the weekend that was talking about... That was trying to... It was on Den of Geek, and it was trying to convince its readers that Gremlins 2 is better than Gremlins 1. And it almost convinced me.
No.
It almost convinced me.
Them in that whole tower and like
it's ridiculous. But their whole argument was like, this is a meta movie that knows what it is and it's making fun of itself and it's making fun of sequels and it's. I was like, I'd never thought of it that way. But when I was a kid, I loved that movie.
I didn't like Gremlins 2. I tell you what, I just recently watched was Back to the Future 2.
I love that.
It's a lot.
I've seen those movies so many times though that I can't not. I can't see them with fresh eyes. I see those movies like. Yep, this holds a place of no matter what, this is good for me because it's trapped in that like. Oh yeah.
It's
my friend got me a signed photo of her from that scene where she signed it
on the boobs.
No, just a photograph. It's a picture,
Leah?
and it's and it's signed in silver marker, and it's that picture. I still have it.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that great?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that kind of like weird reference.
I don't have any movie memorabilia.
She also got me the. This is my friend Lisa. She gets all the best, like very, very, very special tailored gifts where it's like I've thought of you specifically.
Oh,
and,
she's good.
I searched for it. She got me.
She's got time.
She doesn't. She has 2 kids and she's got a great job, but she's just really good at this. She got me a.
It's her job. All right, she's great.
She's got a great job.
Okay.
She got me a not signed but like movie prop from Death Becomes Her.
Oh, the bottle?
No, oh God, no. That's like ruby slippers, like that's crazy. No, this is she got me the like funeral card, the pamphlet that they're reading at the funeral for Bruce Willis at the end of the movie.
Oh my God, that's
as an old man, and it's like that little funeral thing.
Because you have a Death Becomes Her mug on your desk.
I love Death Becomes Her.
Yeah,
I really. There's a very specific Trapped era of like late 80s through the early 90s.
That's my jam. I think I'm really good.
Yeah.
Right there. I got a sweet spot of probably 87 to like 96.
Like Pretty Woman, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, like all of that.
All of those
yeah.
are so good. But I'm talking like Tequila Sunrise or like all of those like Bird on a Wire or
Bird on a Wire,
like
for
all
sure.
of those.
Yeah.
There were so many
Captain
movies
Ron.
out. Captain Ron. I'm good. I think everything Goldie Hawn put out is a treasure.
I even like Deceived.
I love Deceived.
It's great when she yells at the kid about the teddy bear.
And she's like put together in that one, and
she's serious. Serious.
Yeah.
And it's John Hurt, right?
John
That's her
Hurt's
husband.
so good. Yeah.
That's a great. I would like to watch that movie.
Right?
Yeah. I'd like to watch that movie again. I like that. I love the era of like women in peril. But like who ultimately like triumph.
Yeah, they rock the cradle.
Yes, all that.
Yes.
Like what do they call it? The From Hell movies, like the
Single
Babysitter from Hell, like the Roommate from Hell, The Crush.
The Crush. Wait a minute.
That's Alicia Silverstone and Carrie
Right.
Ellis.
I started thinking The Craft.
I love that too. I could go on and on. I mean, come on.
We got all day.
Yeah. Well, it's still another half a bottle.
Oh yeah. I'm ready for my second.
I want to get into this Housewives stuff.
All right. Let me fill up.
Because I'm like, this has been tickling the back of my mind this whole time.
Now.
Because I feel like I have to give an introduction to this too. Like I have to explain myself as a Housewives viewer.
All right. First of all, I just want to thank you for telling me about that book. Wait a minute. It's called The Housewives.
It's a New York Times bestseller now.
I had it up here. Where it is?
Yeah.
I had it up here.
It should be.
I wanted to say the guy's name, but now it's not.
Brian Moyne.
The Housewives. I don't know. I'll find it.
Moylan.
Oh, there it is. The Housewives. The real story behind the Real Housewives. And
is it Brian? What's his name?
So this dude worked.
Brian Moylan.
Yeah.
He writes all the Vulture recaps.
So he worked for Vulture and basically just blogged about Housewives since the beginning.
He does a lot of recaps, which I've only recently kind of submerged
myself into. I don't usually do a recap.
I love a recap. I love a recap.
I never found that I needed anybody else's opinion unless I'm talking with someone about it.
I know. It kind of, to me, it's very, it sits neatly into that kind of, the next morning, you're having like a cup of coffee and you're like...
Well, that's what I like to come in to talk to you about.
Yeah, you're unpacking and you're kind of just like, what is the world out there saying about it? And I a little bit care what Twitter and all those places have to say. That's kind of fun, but like I need someone a little bit more organized as we now know. So like give me a really good voice who's going to put this together really succinctly. And then I like a good comment section where the people have been kind of with this for a long time and you've got good kind of like a good separates the kind of. Here's
my thing. Every week or whenever I put out a podcast, I'll say what's one up watching, and I'll talk about like what I just watched, like Mayor of Easttown or whatever, and talk about the design, whatever. And usually I just throw out
what's one up watching.
Yeah, right. And of course I always say and Housewives, but I know you don't want to hear about that because I don't think my audience is Housewives people.
Ugh, there's got to be some out there.
I know there are. I
didn't used to be.
I don't know. So, but I thought, how can I turn a Housewives discussion towards the podcast and in talking with you, I thought, well, we could talk about the decor of the Housewives and the good and the bad of it and what we've seen over the years and who's faking it and who's not and whatnot.
And you got to be on it because you can't. It's not about. Typically, it's they're moving through these houses pretty fast.
Yeah,
not always, but
I mean, like, well, it depends what city. Like New Jersey, they're not moving.
No, they're inside.
They're not moving.
Right.
New York, they move.
Yes, and New York is a lot of trips, restaurants.
Yeah, and then even Beverly Hills, they move. Some of them move.
Yeah.
OC, OC moves.
See, I don't know OC.
Yeah, they move around. They get different houses.
Oh, you're talking about actually move.
Yeah, like different houses.
I'm saying like they're oftentimes kind of tight shots of people, and they don't spend a lot of time looking at the rooms. There was
True.
So I know I will get into like maybe like a quick like how even why I came to this because I have not always been a Housewives fan. I am now unapologetically one.
I wasn't like I started with New York. I didn't watch
Me
OC.
too. Me too.
And then I went back and watched OC.
OC would be the last on my list to watch if I was going to go back and rewatch. I'm New York.
It's really raw.
I believe that.
And that is...
And OC bums me out as a place.
I know.
I used to... when I worked for the architecture firm, one of the offices was down in the OC, and every time I went out there, I was like, this is just not me. This is like...
You gotta find a niche of the OC that you like. It's very polarizing.
It's just the... If you're talking about design... Just the way it's laid out bums me out. The fact that it's not, it's like not a, it's truly anti-pedestrian.
Yes.
It's big, wide, giant paved streets. It is designed.
Huge.
It's designed.
You need a car.
It's designed for you to be alone. Unless you're with people you know already.
Well, or a family.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
in your house.
Stay in your car, go from your car to this place, and then go from this place, and then like there's gates around this neighborhood, and it's very not like. There's no kind of social fabric whatsoever. And it also, the architecture itself just kind of bums me out. Like, everything is new, but it's new, just kind of joyless new. You know, like, it's kind of modern, fake Spanish.
Yeah.
Kind of,
nice
restaurants are in strip malls.
There's some gems.
Sure.
I mean, there's amazing ocean property down there.
Of course.
It's a gorgeous.
But there's also amazing ocean property in Malibu.
Yeah, but Malibu's hard. You can't see the houses.
I know, but I'm just
saying.
saying.
And only like 20 houses have like an ocean front, and everybody else is 10 minutes away up a hill.
I am no OC expert at all. But people I know who are from the OC are like, I'm happy I'm not there anymore.
They move around.
And it kind of bumps me out.
I would say, blanket statement, the best houses are Beverly Hills.
Of course. Without
question. I mean, you can't top these bitches' houses.
No, without question. I'm watching this season, so I can speak. Here's what I can say. I like in a one quick blurb about my understanding and knowledge, because I really cannot sit here and present myself as an expert on Housewives. I'm a brand new.
What are you
fanatic.
Talking about?
I'm brand new. Within a year or two.
But you in that year or two
I've watched a lot. It really got me through the pandemic. It really did. It was such escapism.
I don't care if you're new or not. You have history of you've watched a lot.
I've watched a lot. I've watched all of New York.
Yeah.
I've watched all of Potomac. And New York and Potomac are my...
You've watched all of Salt Lake.
I've watched all of Salt Lake. Yeah, Salt Lake to me is like the icing on the cake. Salt Lake was... And I came and went with that. I thought maybe this isn't going to be good. Now it is. I now understand that... I understand so much more about this. And because when we read that book, it's so true. It's like, I understand that there is a depth to this.
Yes.
There is learning to be done. I will watch stuff and go, oh man, I've had something similar happen to me. I mean, I'm not that person, but I'm going through a similar struggle, like a weird, this person's friend is not getting along with their boy, whatever. Like, and you get kind of, oh yeah, I'm connected to this person in this way, and this makes me think about my own situation.
Yeah, I had a friend do that to me in fifth grade. Yes.
Exactly. Like you kind of connect. And also, at the most important thing to remember is that it's a comedy.
Yes. The
And if you-
voyeurism part of it, to me,
It's great.
is great. And for me, it's I make 1,000,002 decisions before 6 p.m. And all I want to do is
Yes.
tune out
That's right.
and be fascinated
That's right.
by these people's lives that they're allowing to be filmed.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, we're all
shown
in
to
on
the
it.
world.
They're in on it. We're in on it.
And one of the great things I think he describes in that book is the wink, how the camera happens, and
Yes.
you get to see something that the other person didn't get to see, and or they'll do like a flashback, like you never said that, and then like flashback.
No, the editing is award winning.
And to think of how many, I have a friend who edits reality TV, and the hours upon hours that they tape and then have to weave together a tangible, like a thread of like a story that we have to be interested in, and a lot of times we aren't. You can be interested in 2 people and not 4 others. Like it happens a lot in this season, but
And you know when to take your lumps. You know when it's when like okay, you've kind of developed a little bit of a trust with the show after a while.
yeah, you're gonna give me something.
You're gonna give me something, or else
It's in the last 5 minutes of the show, but I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Yes.
And the next preview you're gonna show me is the last 5 minutes of the next show, probably.
Weird comparison, but like we were just talking about down at the catering the other day, that show Girls, which is also I knew you wouldn't like it.
Girls.
But my point of bringing this up is that I actually really loved that show, and when it wasn't great, I still was like, well, I liked that episode even though it wasn't great. There was always something that I thought, oh, that surprised me. I'm a big, like, give me a crazy costume, give me something, give me something kooky. So to me, that's the same thing. It's like Housewives. It's like, you're always going to get something
You're going to get something, yeah. Yeah.
I've watched the first 6 seasons of Atlanta recently.
See?
Yeah.
How great was Phaedra? Please bring Phaedra back.
Oh, I didn't see. I have not gotten to the point where she's gone yet. I know she leaves. But she's my favorite. She's my favorite with a PH.
Now, Phaedra is, in a weird way, kind of the Sonia, in a sense that she will...
living on her own planet.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But like, we love her for it.
I loved her.
Yeah.
It's a sin that she's not on it.
I am watching current Beverly Hills, as you know, and I watched last season of it to get caught up. So I got 5. I can tick off 5 or 6 on my hand, which is a lot. I guess that is a lot.
This season of New York and Beverly Hills, we're seeing a lot of houses because they can't go anywhere.
They have to stay in their houses. That's true.
So we are getting a bit of it, and we're doing a lot of traveling together, or like in the restaurant, they're the only ones there.
Yeah.
It's so
You really
weird.
do stop and look around.
It's so
I was going to bring this up because I was thinking about talking about this, and one thing that they did way back in the day that they don't do very much anymore. Because I think when the show first started, it was a little tiny bit more like lifestyles of the rich and famous. Like they would do a little more of like, this costs this much at the bottom. Like, I just got a drink. Yeah, they would do a thing of like car for this for this, and it was kind of like the people were a little bit more like. So, if we're going to go back for a second without any photo reference, do you remember 3 that come to mind, early interiors, that I actually paused like a grandparent my TV and took photos? They're on my phone somewhere, because I just took photos on my screen because I couldn't believe it. Simon and Alex's New York redo when they finally did their and it was like a red hideous bordello,
hideous,
bonkers,
hideous, like
truly
how did you find that shit? It's really
unsettling.
Yeah,
like
disturbing.
Like an Airbnb that you'd see for a shitty place in New Orleans, and you'd go, like it smells off just looking through the photos.
Yeah,
like a kind of I remember it was kind of
hear the air conditioner rattling.
And the creaky floor. I remember it was like and that was in that dreadful.
It was a high gloss red,
Yes.
right? And black and was it red and white red and black stripe?
There was damask.
Yes.
It was that. It was that like aughts era of like black
What is
velvet
wrong
damask.
with them?
That was I remember being like black and white damask is so cool, and like brown and blue damask.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Which
Brown
is
and blue had their
which is a
moment.
segue
Yes,
to when
true.
Jill Zarin redid her apartment.
Now with
The blue.
Mm-hmm.
And they would do they did this with
But
both of
she
them.
had a fabric store. She knew better.
She sure did. They would do, I'm sure it was expensive.
Oh,
and
I'm sure it was.
P.S. I want this to be a caveat in general. I love absolutely every one of these women. So,
You love Alex.
I mean, I love Alex because of what she gave us. I don't want to be best friends with her. But I'm like, to me, there's a weird social contract that happens. It's like the minute that these people...
what was it? The monster shoes that she
Yeah,
had.
the Herman Munster. The minute that
shoes.
these people come into this world and give it to me, it's like you're giving us a gift of letting us fully judge all of this. I take like a weirdly generous thank you for your service attitude to every one of them.
Yeah.
Even the ones that I'm like, oh, that was boring. Usually when they're boring, they don't stick around for very long. So I'm like, okay, fine. That person was boring, but I'm not like, I hate them for being boring. You know, like
Well, I hate them for wasting my time.
Yeah, but they won't waste your time for that long, and it's always kind of like it's gambling. It's a little bit like
Teddy from Beverly Hills.
And I only saw her in a little bit, but yeah, like I'm fine. To me, she's already gone, so I'm ready to move on.
All right.
But Jill Zarin's blue crazy too.
Yeah.
They used to just take the camera and steady it on the interiors
And
and
give it a
show.
pan. Yeah,
like this is what it was before. Now look at it, and I wish they would do that.
And
more.
Ramona's when she redid it.
Oh yes, that was more recent.
They redid it. Yeah,
that was more recent.
They showed all that.
Yeah. No, my third one was going to be when Kim Zolciak redid her place.
I don't remember that one.
And it was like
After she got married?
I think it was before, and I think it was like she redid her kids' rooms.
Oh,
And I might be kind of combining, but she also was renting a house, and then she redid that and it was like they were panning across the rooms, and it was like a true religion.
Oh my God.
Hellscape.
Like crosses,
fleur de lis, and like metallic tufted, like it was just so
trucker hats
pumped up, but it was like that kind of like just heavy big wood that's been gilt and then sanded down. And
so it's funny that you're saying this because
chaos.
I was thinking to myself, what is the worst? And the worst to me,
Can you turn that tiny bit?
Yeah, the worst to me is Jennifer Aden's house on New Jersey, because this really is her furniture, and it's like this oversized, ridiculous, fake gilded.
It's very all of this is very Queen of Versailles,
but fake.
No, but Queen. Remember that documentary Queen of Versailles? That Florida woman.
Yes.
It's that.
Yes.
It's like knows real knowledge. Oh wait. Go back to that. That is the arches.
The arch, I mean, the house is ginormous.
Very private and quiet.
Yeah, right.
How could it be quiet? It's all stone.
It's ginormous house, but the furnishings in it, like when you have a house that big, even with Teresa when she moved into her new house way back when, it was like you were buying furniture and it just looked like miniature furniture because it looks like dollhouse because these rooms are so big.
They're too big, yeah. Yeah, it's not.
That you need so much furniture to get in there, and the scale becomes weird.
Yeah, you don't actually live like that. Like no one's actually like happy in this.
Like this is ridiculous. This like rose color, like plastic. I don't know what goes on. But to me,
can I see the actual outside?
Look at this dining room. It has like gigantic tall chairs, like 12 of them, with a white baby grand piano, like Versace
it's Liberace.
Liberace
Liberace
would like
for sure.
die to be in this house. The outside, she's got a pool.
The scale of all of that is so crazy.
A giant blow up. I'm reading this on The Sun. It's like.
Is this is this current?
This is
2020.
2020, yeah.
Oh, this is just before
now,
COVID.
here's the thing. So she, look at this.
Is she on it right now?
Yeah. So this past season, she said, "Oh, I redid my house, and it became just smaller bad taste instead of the big oversized bad taste. It's still bad."
There's like here's a general statement about these houses in general. They're obviously unless they're typically in Beverly Hills or New York, they're almost always crazy McMansions.
Yes.
They're like new construction where they just kind of like glue the moldings. They're like sets, like big giant sets, and they're always endless stone floors. Or endless wood floors with no rugs. It's like echoey, bouncy.
It's really hard to walk on.
And I would think it'd be hard for the sound guys.
And your kids.
Yeah, it's just it's cold.
Yeah.
It's
Look at this. Look, it's a mile to her back door, and there's no rugs, and it's all like stone floor, like you say. Look. This is all like, it's ridiculous. Well, this is like, she's not even in that room. This is like a foreground piece, and that's her. I don't know.
I'm looking at like almost like if Beauty and the Beast was like a porno movie.
I think it is.
It's so.
I think it is somewhere.
It's absolutely.
So that to me, when you brought up like bad, I thought of that too. Like, what's the worst? That's the worst to me. It's the worst taste, and it's so overdone. And they probably paid. And she goes into it in her first episode about like buying all of this stuff from China.
It's never just like it's never someone has that's also, this speaks to like what kind of person would want to be on a show like this, you know, like the kind of person who would go to like, you know, get like museum quality, beautiful, new, modern looking, you know, or classic, you know, like even or antiques, like that kind of person is not going to do a show like this probably. This is like their personality exploded onto a house.
Yes.
That type of like look at me exploded onto a house.
All right, there's an article I'm reading from Screen Rants that was in June of 2020. So there's a list on here just to give us some reference of like houses. Candy Burris' house in Atlanta. So she's got this big like Tudor style house and then this huge 3-floor guest house next door, which I always thought was so ridiculous. I forget if her mom moves in there. Her mom doesn't move in there.
I've only seen up to 6, and as of 6, she was about to get married.
Well, I think her daughter starts to live over here or something. But it's a beautiful home. It's really nice, and it's exactly what is all around Atlanta.
Yeah, it's
stone front.
It's something it's something that I look at, and then if I look away, I've immediately forgotten it.
Yeah, it's completely forgettable. Now, Teresa Giudice, I always say Giudice.
I do too. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I think it is Giudice.
I think it's, I don't know.
I used to say Giudice because that sounds like so much more interesting.
I forget. Andy made me forget. Now, this house is famous for her saying, "I only want to live in new construction because old construction grosses me out. I don't want to live in other people's gross old houses." As I was looking for her houses on here, their first house in New Jersey sold for auction for $100. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, like tear down, basically gross compared to like this. So I think she was trying to get so far away from what she had to this like new construction. I think this was like early 2000s. It looks like.
They hate custom this thing.
Built it. I know.
I hate. Well, here's what. And
it's too big.
No, but this is the same thing with the other one.
No character.
It's always everything. Like no one is. They never prioritize in any kind of way. Like let's make the entry a little smaller, and then it goes into a bigger thing. Like there's no stepping up. Everything's all the same size. So if you look at this, you've got this gigantic tower as an entryway.
The entrance to Disney World.
Yeah, this looks like to me
the train station,
like a Mr. Toad's kind of weirdly defunct rip-off kind of thing. I mean,
no, and then these are balustrades. Is that what that's called? Yeah. This surrounds the whole front of the house, and then some sort of circle driveway. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the inside, she had the same problem. the furniture was so cheaply and so small compared to these huge rooms. Yeah. Now this one I don't know. Potomac, you can speak to this.
Oh, this is Monique.
Monique.
I love Monique.
Monique's house. That's an interesting style. But again, it's like a
Monique
like a rancher's...
Monique and her husband are crazy rich, and this approach is better. Like, this is great. Like, this is fine. I just changed. I'm kind of experiencing it in real time. No. This is fine. This is obviously a well lit picture too. So we're looking at a kind of glowy, warm environment. Yeah. But this does have different scale. It changes. The inside of this, she has a crazy fish tank in the kitchen.
Ugh.
Huge.
Oh my God.
And I think fish tanks are like fish tanks are a little bit of like big fish tanks are kind of like, okay, like it's
a commitment.
They also,
and they're expensive.
I've been in people's houses with big saltwater tanks. Like, that's the smell right there.
Yeah, it's an odor.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an odor. It's a commitment.
She suffers from the same. Everybody here. It's always the same thing. It's just like big, carved, too gilded. Big. Like, everything is about scale.
Too big, too much.
Yeah, everything's about scale. I wish they showed us the insides of these.
I know. Well, no one can see them but us anyway. So
I know.
It's a difference. So Bethany Frankel's Hampton's house, which I really like, except for in this picture they should have her skinny girl red and white car out front because she's always driving around.
I know. I liked the backyard of this.
I loved her house. That little like bar area she had. Like,
I wanted to be at that party that she had where she was not getting along with John, Dorinda's
right.
Remember, and it was uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it was kind of a dreadful party. But for the show, like, she was just kind of miserable the whole time, and it was like a camping, like they were roasting marshmallows.
Yeah.
But I was like, this was also like smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. I was like, that's great. I want to be a part of that. I absolutely want to be a part of that. I feel like
they only show her kitchen and the backyard.
Yeah, you don't get too deep.
I don't think Bethany let them film the whole house.
I mean, she also always had cool apartments in the big.
Yeah.
But sometimes
I love the apartment that she redid. That like, through her whole like Bethany married whatever debacle.
Afterwards.
The one that she redid with Jason.
Oh, I didn't see that. Unless it was on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, she always had like cool closets.
Yeah, she made everything work.
Some of the...
Like, you walked in and her bedroom was right here. And then you walked in and there was like kitchen and then this big open living room.
For these New York apartments is like unreal. And
she gutted it. And
always the art though. I was like, oh, we could get some cooler art.
Now, did you ever see her show with Frederick? About flipping? Flipping house?
No, but I have seen him in other movies.
I like Frederick, but then I hate him.
So I had seen him in those movies before I had ever seen.
That's fantastic.
It's almost like you see your teacher in the
oh my God.
in the grocery store.
We're talking about apparently he's done some porn.
Yes.
I don't know. The next one is Stephanie Holman. I don't know her.
Neither do I. Skip.
Okay, skip.
Next.
Kyle Richards.
I love this house.
It's almost like Tara.
I love this house.
I love this house.
It's also not modern farmhouse, which is why I like it.
Yeah.
This to me is like straight up
colonial,
classic old Beverly Hills looking house.
Yeah, with like the really
Brentwood.
Big rounded driveway and this gorgeous sculpted backyard.
That's an awesome. It's awesome. I also like. I'm coming new to these women, and I'm currently a fan of all of them. Not their houses, but I'm a fan of, like, there's not a woman on we're talking what, season 11, season 12?
Yeah.
There's not one of them that I'm like, I can't stand this one.
Yeah, it's all entertaining. I think
I know people are polarized by Lisa Rinna. I know, like, not everyone likes Kyle, but I'm like, I'm fine. I got nothing. I got no.
I miss Lisa Vanderpump.
Qualms.
I don't know.
Sure.
Ramona Singer's Hampton's house.
I can get into this one. I'm gonna close my eyes.
Yeah. We've
really
been there, up that staircase.
We've
been down the basement.
Yes. This is a house that I was like, she should be proud of it. And she is.
Well, she's redone it, and I read on another thing, she's renting it out for like $8,500 a week or something. You can like go stay there. Is that something we want to do?
Yes. How much?
It was $8,500 a week.
Oh, that's not inexpensive. That's pretty steep. It's a big house, though.
It's big. Huge pool.
I want this to go on the record.
Oh, it's on.
I love Ramona.
I love Ramona. I can't watch. It's not.
Yeah, I am a.
It's not New York without Ramona.
I am a non-ironic Ramona fan. Because I see myself in her.
With the vertigo? What's going on?
No, that's amazing. But that's amazing the way she did that. It's amazing the way that's vertigo. Like
that's vertigo.
She's so.
All right, I'm good.
She's so kooky and daffy. She's also like I can see that she's like damaged and she's always trying to get over it. I can relate to her narcissism. I can relate to her look at me-isms. I can relate to her wanting to throw a party for 60 of her closest friends. I just think that it's so easy. It's so cheap and easy to be like anti-Ramona.
Yeah,
it's so cheap. And I watched it all.
I don't know anyone who doesn't like Ramona.
Oh, I know plenty of people who do. I mean, I don't know personally, but you always hear on the comments, Ramona. And if you go on Twitter, Ramona's like people don't like her because she's, she voted for Trump.
Ramona almost left her own apartment last week because she didn't want to talk politics again.
And she Ramona voted for Trump or whatever. It's like, yeah. You have family members that voted for Trump. Yeah. You don't like those family? Come on, come on. It's absurd.
That's why we love Ramona.
She's unabashedly like old 1980s, like
turtle time.
And also she like grew up in New York in the 80s, and she's like to her like
she's hot.
And to
she's
her,
never looked better.
Yeah,
every season I think she's never looked better.
I want to start a Ramona fan club podcast.
I'm in. Do that.
So I don't love her house, but
because I like it.
I like the house the way it looks. This is a class. The house is great.
But she redid it.
I'm saying it's got no character. It's got no. It doesn't feel personal. It feels like this is what you do to kind of.
But it's not a huge overdone house like the rest of them. It's a real home.
Yes, it is. I wish that she went into this like Nantucket-y kind of beachy Sisal vibe a little bit more. Not steamy, but
she went like realtor white with everything. She tried to make it it's because it's an Airbnb type.
And it's got like a stone. Yeah, I wish she went like Serena Lily kind of like she did that kind of like elevated, caning and stuff like that. Yeah. That'd be so beautiful.
She's got the money to fucking do it.
She sure does.
Melissa Gorga's house is another too big McMansion in New Jersey. It's too big.
Windows all over the place in terms of shape and style. It looks like it's trying to be. It looks like this. It looks like Cinderella had a little rustic cottage and said to her fairy godmother, I want you to take this little rustic cottage and make it into a big mansion. And okay, here you go. Ding, boom.
Do.
All the same elements are there, but it's just like blown into like thatched roof almost looking.
The weird style, like arches and windows. None of the windows match.
That crazy big Palladian window that's on the second floor is totally
the tower connecting the two like actually separate houses.
It's a little French. It's a little German. It's a little. It's all.
And look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fireplaces. You don't need that.
That's crazy.
You don't need 5 fireplaces, and that's on the only ones I can see.
I'm sure she's having the time of her life, though.
Well, I think they're selling it.
But I'm just saying,
yeah. Now Heather Dubrow. This is, I think. Well, no, this is her new house. So they never showed this on the show, but she bought the land and then like she was designing it on the last season she was on. Now she's going to be on the new season and we'll finally get to see it, but she literally planted a fully grown tree in the middle of the house as like an atrium.
Wow.
And then has this like giant staircase going around it.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think the most expensive houses, wait, let me just jump. We could talk about that in a minute. So that I'm hoping to see in this next season that she's on.
What season is this? Like season 25?
To 8 to 16? I don't know. It's 4 more than New York. 3 or 4 more than New York.
Damn.
So 15? 16?
Wow.
And then on this list, number 1, which would be my number 1 house, is Lisa Vanderpump's house.
I have to see it. I haven't seen it.
What do you mean you haven't seen it?
I've only seen the last season and she wasn't on.
This house is like you walk over a moat and there's like 2 swans that meet you. I forget their names.
They're contractually obligated to come
Hanky and Panky. Hanky and Panky.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know she's crazy wealthy, so
yeah.
I'm not surprised.
There's a swing, there's horses and ponies on the side, But, like, this house is just, like, gorgeous to me. And it's, like, up in the hills. And
Where
it's
is
like,
it? Because, like, none of them live in Beverly Hills, right?
No, she's in Beverly. She's, like,
Actually
up in the hills.
I thought all of it's, like, Calabasas or, like,
No.
Pasadena.
She's in Beverly Hills, I do believe. Look at this. It's a chandelier outside, these, like, gorgeous trees. There's always these gigantic fresh flower arrangements. I don't know. I love her house.
It's very like a hotel.
The bedroom is like enormous.
From this picture I'm looking
and, like,
at.
The view out her back is just like all of LA. Infinity pool. Gorgeous. Yeah. So, how about this? Ramona's house that we just talked about, $6.4 million.
I totally believe that. Absolutely.
I think it's a little high. Do you think?
No.
For the Hamptons?
No.
I don't know.
I mean, I live in...
Oh, shit. Here's the interior. Look.
Oh.
The white.
Yeah.
It's for... Because she's renting it out. Maybe it does say on here. It's available for rent for $250,000 a month.
Wow.
$250,000. No one's paying that, Ramona.
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
But wait a second. Go back to that shot of the living room. Like that crazy thing of the two big white vases.
Where did you find those vases?
Pocket, like niches.
But she has now the like high end
gray neutral.
Come rent this place. It's clean.
What are your thoughts on just the banister being black?
I like it. I think it's a nice detail.
And the little
I wouldn't have gone silver.
It'll be silver in another 5 years. All of a sudden, silver will be the thing again.
Like,
everyone will get rid of all their brass.
I know. But I like Ramona's house. Teddy Mellencamp, who left the Beverly Hills show, bought this house. And I don't know if we saw it. I think we might have seen it on the show. Because she is a counselor.
She made up, like, I thought it was like they gave her she became a accountability coach. And then had so many people after the show that she's like shitting money. Her place is worth $6.5 million. I mean, this is very Californian. Well, what do you think is going to happen with the modern farmhouse thing? It's very, 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 very.
I think in 5 years,
constant.
It's like.
It was kind of a reaction to those like blocky modern houses.
Yeah, it's just more streamlined.
But it's not. It's like you don't like the big boxy kind of modern looking.
Right.
A box stacked on top of a box. So let's give you kind of the old fashioned dream of a more cozy house.
It's modern.
But still in like very clean lines.
I love the indoor outdoor. Like you just open up a wall.
Yeah, like a narrow wall.
I love that. Like we have sliding-glass doors, we just keep them open. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, her house is really nice, but we didn't really get to see it on the show. Camille Grammer.
Yeah, this is before my time.
Well, it was a beautiful Malibu house, and then fucking it burned down. It was gorgeous.
It burned down?
Yeah. It's a sin.
Oh,
so here's Sutton's house.
Oh, let's talk about this one for sure.
Now look at those shoes. Now this woman has a complete, like, I don't know, 700 pairs of shoes in like color coordinated.
This is not her house anymore.
This is the one she sold.
She purchased it.
This is the one she bought. No, I
thought she just is now moving out.
No, this is the
new
one.
She's renting.
She's renting Kyle's, and then she bought this, and she's
it's undergoing renovations.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the whole storyline was that she's like moved out of her house.
Sutton, your house isn't going to be ready till 2025.
Oh.
So that's like a realtor's pick.
Yeah.
But this was her old home.
I can't even imagine this. This is bumming me out.
Clothes and shoes she has.
This is ultimately when we get into like actually thinking about what they really have. That's when it starts to really bum me out.
That they have so much money.
Yeah.
Why? People should have money.
I mean, because it's like I don't.
I don't know why she has money.
I'm just saying, like, whenever I can't look at this stuff without going, I want that.
Oh, well, yeah, of course I want a pool. That's all I want is a pool. Kyle Richards' house. We talked about how much. Now, this is the one that she's renting. This is the Encino one.
Oh, this is the old one.
The old ones were nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Dorit. That's who I was thought. That's what I thought.
So
we
Dorit,
did too.
this is her
like
new
the
one.
epitome of modern farmhouse.
Yes, this is her new one. Now, this is what was weird to me in this farmhouse design of this house is the windows are so small. Isn't it weird? Really
I don't mind
small
those
windows.
little 3 windows above the door. Those little 3 squares.
But this is weird.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
The back of the house is like opens up. Every room seems to open up.
Yeah.
And or like you just walk out into a balcony and can jump into the pool.
And they're in Encino, like that's a ways away.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I like what this is like the epitome of right now. It's like this is right this moment. What things are looking like.
This article was weird to me because they currently live in an 8,900 square foot Encino home, but have put it up for rent, asking $75,000 a month. After failing to find a buyer in 8 months on and off the market between 9.5 and 8 million, they purchased the 6-bedroom, 7.5 bath adobe for 6.5 in August 2019. So they were renting it for $75,000 a month, and then they decided to buy it.
My brain completely fogged.
I know. I can't. I read that even before wine, and I
it's like a number and then a number and then a number.
Because they currently live in this 8,900 square foot Encino home, but have put it up for rent. How can you live there and put it up for rent?
Oh, I don't know.
$75,000 a month.
Look at the like zigzagging slats on the roof though. That's kind of on the ceiling. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like
very modern.
I like
very,
I think she's
very
I think she's a total kook, and I like her weird accent. I like her weird accent. I like her costumes.
Yeah.
I have like I said, I think I've told you this. I have her
hairdos.
I have 3 things, and if you check off at least 1 or 2 of these, you're in good
golden.
standing in my book.
You're golden.
And one is you wear crazy costumes. Check.
There's a lot of housewives who wear crazy costumes.
Some who don't.
No, some don't. But
like Kathy Hilton doesn't, but
no.
she's great. You make me laugh, and Kathy Hilton makes me laugh. And you bring drama. If you do those 3 things...
Don't you miss Dorinda?
Yeah.
How about Bluestone Manor not making any of these lists?
Great point.
That's really kind of a shame.
Point. That's a
great
iconic
home.
Interior.
The shark room.
Oh, this is Sonia Morgan's.
Look, Sonia's house. I mean, this is a New York brownstone, like, classic. I never realized she lived right next door to, like, a ghetto building.
No, it's like a parking garage, and it trips me out every time you see it, because when you go right next to it, it's like next to it.
Been there?
No, in the show, like whenever they show it, you see like a sign for all the like parking rates and things like that.
And they put the 57-year-old Roni.
I know. That's like they didn't do that for anybody else.
But these pictures of her house
are better than it's ever looked on the show.
It's been tweaked.
Yeah,
her house never looked this good.
This place is
her kitchen is tiny.
Do you know what this house kind of reminds me of?
Right.
It kind of reminds me of Diane Keaton's house in First Wives Club.
Oh yeah, that kitchen.
Yeah.
Where they're sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about there's no poop on the on the backyard patio.
That weird backyard is such a trip.
Because this
1899.
Built in 1890. Wow, that is crazy.
Wow.
I mean, look at those floors.
Wow.
The hardwood floors go like a diagonal towards the fireplace.
Just sell it, right? Like,
yeah.
I think she'd be so much happier if she let it go. I think. What do I know?
Oh, here's Vanderpump's house. But this isn't her. I don't understand this article. The Vanderpump's house, 2011. This is the house that burnt down. This isn't the Villa Rosa. This is the one that burned down. I don't remember.
This is already outdated.
Erica Jane.
Yes.
Erica Jane's house.
Already doesn't apply.
In Pasadena, like,
the
gorgeous.
The front of it kind of sucks.
Yeah, but it's subtle rich. Do you
know
what I mean?
It's the way. I know, but like this to me is
it's
like
so Pasadena.
Like this is like meh. Like this is like it's so paved.
He bought it for $1.3 million in 1980.
Wow. Well, also, what was 1.3 million
It's
in 1980?
now worth $13 million.
What was 1.3 million in 1980? Not that we need to look it up, but I bet it was a lot.
But this house is like...
That is some deep... Those are some deep coffers.
Coffers in the ceilings of... I guess it's their living room. This gigantic library.
That one photo says, the living room has crown molding.
Wood paneling and 2 fireplaces at each end. Those chandeliers are dinky.
This is like the Big Lebowski style rich.
But here's the thing. If this house hasn't been on the market since 1980, how did they get these pictures? Like, what? These look like realtor pictures.
Maybe they've thought about selling it and haven't.
Mm. Oh, here's the Heather Dubrow. So this is what I'm hoping to see. See how she put a tree in the middle of her
it's
house?
open air.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's crazy.
And it's 21 million?
21 million.
What do they do? How do they have so much money?
Well, the husband's a plastic surgeon, and he has his own reality show, Botched,
Ooh.
with Adrian Malouf's, who Adrian's house was, like, amazing, too. But that was it for this
Is there a thing right there about Jen Shaw's house?
No, was that Jen Shaw at the bottom?
If you go up a little bit.
Go up?
Yeah. Keep going. There.
Jen Shaw's house, the infamous...
Ski chalet.
Ski chalet. Is an alleged fraud, too.
Mm-hmm.
Jen Shaw, not known...
I can't wait to see how this all shakes out.
Oh, Salt Lake is going to be... I mean, every episode of Salt Lake City is a gift. These women are crazy town. Crazy.
It is all the best parts of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Money laundering, defrauding hundreds of elderly people. Well, her and Girardi should get together.
Oh, nobody.
Oh, you didn't watch Housewives.
Whoa.
I was going to say, this house was fucking amazing.
But that's also crazy. That's so much. That's
this is, she was on Housewives a couple years ago, Carlton
For what?
Jebbia.
Oh, Beverly Hills. This is almost...
Look how gothic and all the windows
All
and
right,
the
it's a
top
perfect
ring.
combination of Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Shining, and the mansion from Death Becomes Her. Not to bring up Death Becomes Her, but I mean, it really is.
Isn't this house amazing?
I don't want gothic in my house.
I know, but it's
I
kind
love
of nice.
Gothic. I love gothic, but gothic is creepy.
It's kind of tasteful gothic, I find.
Yeah, this isn't bad. I just don't like this. Yeah.
No.
No, it's just crazy.
You wouldn't live there.
I mean,
you would live there. I would live in any of these houses.
Of course, but I mean, like, I don't know. I would live there to sell them, a lot of them.
I don't know if I would live in Sonia's house.
No, I wouldn't want to live in most. I wouldn't want to live like most of this, like this. This is too much space. I don't think that's. I don't think that's pleasant. I think it's. I think it is weirdly oppressive to have that much space.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because.
Like
it's
not
too much.
It's anti cozy.
You're echoing. You're like.
Yeah, and also you just want sometimes you just like a cozy room.
So what are we taking away from this, Ryan?
I don't know. I feel like I've like almost weirdly gone down a rabbit hole where I am like feel depressed.
Depressed from these women's houses? Like
imagining myself in these spaces, looking at these spaces. It's not like, you know, and it like it. Here's this is so stupid, but I like them because
we basically shit on all of them.
Exactly. I hate
but we love them.
I hate the like catty gay guy like, oh no, look at that ugly, you know what I mean? Like,
hey, I'm not.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's exactly, but it just, I don't know. So
don't be mad.
I'm not,
because you hated their houses, but you love them.
I don't like any. I'm trying to think through. I try to think through like when I watch these shows. If I like their house,
Ryan, who is Hunky Dory?
Who is Hunky Dory? If I like their house, then I feel bad because I'm jealous. If I don't like their house, then I feel bad because I'm like,
I don't feel bad about anything.
Well, I don't feel as bad. I don't feel
bad. So I've met Kyle Richards at a book signing, had her sign my book. I've met Bethany, had her sign my book. I met Andy a couple times. I begged Andy please let me decorate the reunions.
Right.
It looks like you're filming them in like a thrift shop. Like, please, they look awful. And he was
and no.
He said, "Oh, here's my producer's email."
Yeah, he's got no say in all that stuff. He's not focused on that.
This
part.
was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He might have.
Oh, back in the day, yeah, there were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the budget.
Decor of the reunions has gotten much better.
Oh, they've gotten full theme.
Yeah. Now, like when they go, oh no, we're in a chalet for.
Yeah, Salt Lake City was
that
awesome.
was a good one.
Like it was, and also you don't watch it, but Potomac. They did like Portugal this last time. It was awesome. It was
it's
all
like when Wheel of Fortune does.
No,
like...
it's not that bad. That's actually not a bad comparison.
Bad.
But no, it was kind of fun and kind of over the top. I can't wait till you start. I really.
I know I'm gonna do Potomac.
We're getting close. Potomac, everybody.
When I get a break from the show, I'm gonna deep dive my brain.
You're gonna really enjoy it.
So my mom watches Potomac since the beginning. When it's on, she goes, "Hey, did you see? You watch Potomac, right?" And I go, "I don't watch it, Mom." So
Sleeper hit. And the ones who know. People who are in it and who like it.
Well, the previews for it look really good.
It is. They're a fun bunch. I like them all.
Well, should we get some cameos?
I have my cameo. I can play it.
I got a cameo from Sonia for my mom.
Do you have it?
For her birthday. I don't know. It's deep. It's a couple years ago.
I've got mine. You've
from
seen
Sonia.
It. No, mine's from Ramona.
Oh my God, that's right.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
She's great.
The Housewives on Cameo is brilliant.
Yes.
Luann's cameos are good.
Can you hear it?
That you love Roni.
Wait, hold on. Let me start it over.
Start it over.
Ryan, I love that you love Roni. And I know you just finished watching all this season, so thank you so much. And you just can't get enough. Well, guess what? I'm finishing up season 13 with my castmates. So you'll get more soon in the spring, I think the spring, I hope. So, and I love the fact that out of all the housewives, from what I understand from Erin, is that you relate to me the most because of my wit and class. So thank you for that. So I do hope I will see you at the next BravoCon, and when the world is back up and running. So all the best to you now and always. Cheers.
It's pretty good.
Wow. I like that you were kind of mouthing.
No. I definitely have heard it a lot, so I know it very well.
BravoCon would be really fun.
I really want to go. I don't think it's going to happen this year for sure. No, I've heard it's one of those things.
Lot.
And also, I bet you if you go look it up right now, it's probably not. You probably can't get in anymore.
It's done already.
I'm guessing
sold out.
I bet you it's sold out because I heard the first one they sold right now. And right now you can barely get a reservation to a restaurant. So
yeah,
good luck.
New York's fully open. What do you mean?
I'm saying because it's like stuff books. You can't get a reservation.
You can't get a car rental. I know that.
Yeah, but if you're trying to book a restaurant right now, you have to get like, I'm going to do a table for two.
Well, we know where Sonia lives. Let's just go.
Do we?
How do we not? We could find that.
I think I don't want to.
If we investigated, we could find her house.
Yeah, but I don't want these people to. I don't want them to know I exist.
You're nuts.
I don't, and B, I definitely don't want her to know I exist because I'm a weird stalker. That's too much.
Yeah. I asked Bethany Frankel, like, what advice would you, like, what's your number one advice to, like, entrepreneurs? And I don't remember what she said, but I was like, that was dumb. I forget what I said to Kyle.
A really dumb question.
I know.
That's your question? What's your number one advice to entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
That is joyless.
Well, I don't know what else. I mean, I actually think my friend and I were like, oh, and I'm single. Do you know anyone?
Yeah, like...
I asked her that, too, and it was like,
that's such
that
a,
was
like...
dumb.
Yeah, I feel like she's going to get right at, like, like, always, like, yeah, like...
But what would you ask her?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I got nervous.
What would I ask her? I wouldn't.
It was great. They used to have all these book signings at the Barnes & Noble at the Grove. I don't think they have them anymore.
I wouldn't ask her a question, and I also would... I would be like, you're great. And, like, I feel like she doesn't want to be...
She doesn't want to be there.
She doesn't want to be there. I feel like she would appreciate just, like, a quick, like a nod and a thank you, like a, this is all I'm getting from you, thank you very much. I think, like, she doesn't want to, I want to go to the people who think I want to go to the Ramonas and the ones who are a little bit more polarizing, and those are the ones I want to be like, you're great. Like the ones who everybody loves, not interested.
But like when I went to the Kyle one, was it the Kyle one? Whose book was it? Or maybe it was Bethany's and Kyle and like Taylor. Like everyone was there. Mauricio, I forget, because Kyle Richards didn't write a book. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think it was Bethany's book signing, and all of these housewives were there. Like,
I've never seen one of them in person, and that'd be fun.
Bethany's it's
I believe
almost
that.
Skeletor.
I believe that.
But whatever. But yeah. Well.
I guess the takeaway is, money can't buy you glass. I guess that's the takeaway.
I'm glad we had a little drink. You know, I looked on the bottom shelf for the Ramona White. I couldn't find it.
Oh, that would have been good. I would have drank. Yeah.
I looked, but I was not there.
Oh, I wish you.
I know. That might have been a lot of housewife talk for you, but I'm telling you, look up these houses. They're insane. These houses are insane. They're good, they're bad, and they're very ugly. So, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of these houses, really. I appreciate Ryan giving me his time for this because I know we are swamped at work right now. So thank you, Ryan. And seriously, isn't it crazy how he got into the union? I mean, see that? Anyone who's listening, you gotta have timing and you gotta have your shit together and be prepared, and it'll happen. I'm telling you, it'll happen. Coming up, well, I'm going out of town for the next 2 weeks, so there's not a lot of coming ups. But I'll be talking to some Emmy-nominated people, I'm sure, and probably some interviews in August. So I know you like what you're hearing because you've stayed on this long. So tell a friend, or even better, rate this podcast on your listening platform. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you got an earful. I'm Kim Wanup for Decorating Pages. Not floating through the summer in style? Pick up your Stogie Floaty luxury pool float now at Etsy and StogieFloaty.com.